Good evening, Council, members of the gallery, our friends at the media. I would like to call the Tuesday, November 12th, 2024 regular meeting of Council to order. First up, under 2.1, is the adoption of this evening's agenda. Moved by Councillor Pearson, seconded by Councillor Blanchette. Are there any additions or deletions? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. 3.1, adoption of the minutes of the October 22nd, 2024 regular meeting of Council. Moved by Councillor Blanchette, seconded by Councillor McLean. Any errors or omissions arising? Hearing none, all in favor? It's carried. We do have a delegation this evening. I'm pleased to welcome under 4.1 the Valemount RCMP to provide third quarter statistics presented by Sergeant Bob Dean and Corporal Nicholas Thierret. Please welcome.
For your invitation for this evening. I'm not sure how well you want me to break it down for you, but our quarter is July 1st to September 30th. So a comparison of 2023, the same quarter to this year's quarter. Last year we investigated 309 files. This year is 248, so we're slightly down. The total criminal code offenses reported, other than traffic related, so any kind of criminal offense that way. Last year, we investigated 56, this year 37. So it's quite significantly down. And just so you can quantify where the numbers are, is because of the Jasper fire that we had at the end of July, that shut down the highway. So that took numbers way down. There's like no traffic traveling, so traffic and everything was pretty much non-existent there. So that's why these numbers may vary slightly, but they're very consistent. And some places they're even higher. So files that were criminal code charges that were approved by Crown, we had 1 last year. This year we had 3 in the same quarter. Files where criminal code charges were not approved by Crown, it's the same, 0, 0. Files where criminal code offenses cleared by other means, that would entail talking to the victim and seeing they're taking other remedial actions. We've cleared some by it wasn't a true what's that word? A restorative justice.
Oh yeah.
We just, because we don't have a restorative justice council here. McBride will help us out, but this one, there was a couple there where we just kind of facilitated ourselves between the offender and the victim. So last year was 39 and this year was 6. So quite a bit lower than before. Criminal code investigations where the victims declined to proceed with the investigation, 5 and 5. Hit and par on that one. Files where criminal code offenses were proven unfounded through investigation. So someone's made a complaint, we've investigated and found that it doesn't meet the criminal code standards of what they think it should be. Because a lot of people have an impression of what charges are, and we have to educate them that that's not a charge. So last year there was 11, this year 23. So it's up there. Missing persons files, 2 this year, 1 last year. Check well-being files. So if somebody can't get a hold of a friend or mom, loved one, we get the call to go check on them to see how they're doing, or someone's made some kind of vague threat. We'll go check on to see how they're doing and see and take an assessment that way. So last year we had 25 of those. This year, there were 17. And this is just for those 3 months. Mental Health Act related files, same kind of idea, that if someone feels that someone's going through a mental health episode, they call the police to do an assessment. Last year, we only had 1. This year, we had 6. Traffic-related files, impaired driving investigations. Last year, I don't have that. I don't know why I don't have that on there, but this year we did 12. And so the immediate roadside prohibitions, where nowadays, back in the day, you used to have reasonable grounds to ask somebody to do a breath sample into your roadside screening device. Now we can ask anybody. If you're going to drive, we can ask you, right? So the immediate roadside prohibition, where the person has failed and we give them a 90-day driving prohibition and a 30-day vehicle impound. Last year we had 1, this year there was 3. A 3-day prohibition, same thing, is that you get a warning and it's a 3-day prohibition. Last year was 1, this year is 0. 24-hour suspensions for impaired by drugs. So that's when you stop somebody and you can smell marijuana or they're exhibiting symptoms drug related. There was 2 issued last year compared to 1 this year. 24-hour suspensions by alcohol, they're same, 0, 0. 12-hour suspensions, that's usually meant for the new drivers that hold a new driver's license, so they only get 12 hours. Last year, 0, this year, 1. Unfounded impaired driving, where someone phones in and said they think someone's impaired, 0 and 0. They were reported to us, but we can't find the drivers, so nothing was actioned. Possible impaired driving reports, but not located. So someone phones in and we didn't locate them. Last year was 6, this year was 4. Cannabis Act investigations related to vehicles, such as, driving with open container. It's treated like liquor, or you can smell it in there, sort of like liquor too. There's 1 and 1. 1 last year, 1 this year. Charges laid, this year 1, last year 0. There was no warnings issued either year, and there was 1 insufficient evidence last year compared to this year, there was 0. Driving prohibitions, or you pick up a driver that's not supposed to be driving, is 0 for both years. Didn't find anybody. How can that be? Prohibited driver 0. And then the next page it says, charged with prohibited driving, 2 this year and 0 last year. I don't know what that first one. That never happened. Served prohibition notices, so that's when ICBC flags someone's driver's license that they shouldn't be driving. And if we stop them, we give them a driving prohibition on behalf of ICBC, so that they're now driving, they can't drive. We usually give them a day to get wherever they're going, and then it's in effect. So last year, we got 1 that way and none this year. Collisions, we've gone significantly down, but more likely due to the closure of the highway. Last year, we did 34. This year, there's only 18 reported to us. Property damage, but no injuries. So the vehicle got damaged and everyone kind of walked away with no injuries reported to us. Last year there was 23, this year 11. Property damage where injuries were reported, last year was 10, this year was 4. Property damage fatalities, unfortunately, 1 and 1. Property damage hit and runs, 0 for last year, 1 for this year. Traffic
Sergeant,
complaint,
just before you continue, can you remind council of your catchment area in terms of east, west, and south?
okay, sure. Our Robson Valley detachment, because we're a hybrid detachment, and we work both Valemount and McBride. So Valemount, the members work from Thunder River along Highway 5 all the way up to the border with Alberta and across Highway 16 to Small River. That's Valemount detachment patrol areas on those highways.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So traffic complaints, so someone phones in saying that there's a aggressive driving or someone tried to sideswipe them or whatever. So last year we had 80 of those. This year we had 48. So we're down a little bit. But once again, probably due to the closure, almost 3 weeks, month maybe, that they were closed. Written warning or charges laid, violation tickets issued for the traffic complaints that we investigated, not just where we go out and do active patrolling. Last year was 19 out of the 80 and 5 this year out of the 48. Traffic warnings issued were 2 for this year, and the others were 41 and 61 from last year. So we're down slightly on those. So violation tickets and warnings, that's active patrolling. Like I said, mentioned, we're a hybrid detachment. We're one of the 2 detachment areas that we look after highway patrol, if you will. We look after traffic on the highways. There's not a specific highway patrol member here that does that. And we also calls for service, general duty, frontline policing. So if there's nothing happening on the general duty side of the house, our members are actively out patrolling the highways and enforcing the traffic enforcement laws. So violation tickets last year was 32 tickets issued in that 3 months. This year, 239. Once again, got to quantify that because of the highway being closed, but also we are down as of 3 weeks ago to 50% members working in in Valemount itself and in McBride. So out of the 10 members that are posted in the Robson Valley, we have 5 members working. So that's where the numbers have significantly dropped off because we don't have the manpower out there to, or human resources to go out and do that. We're trying to keep things moving along, dealing with everything else that's coming our way. Written warnings last year was 389. This year was 92. Notice and orders for vehicle defects such as cracked windshields, suspension problems, whatever you find. Last year we gave out 10 of those. This year, 0. Vehicle impoundments relating to excessive speeds. So for excessive speeding, it has to be 40 kilometers an hour or over to get a vehicle excessive speed charge laid against you. And it's an automatical 7-day impound, which actually turns out to be 9, because it's 7 clear days. So if you stop them at 2 o'clock on a Friday, 7 days is Friday, and they can pick it up on the Saturday. 24 hours, it's not just the same time. So it's actually turns out to 9 days. So last year we had 4 in that term. This year we have 8. Can't explain it. We get lots of excessive speeding. So, other than that, I can answer any questions. That's pretty much encompasses a lot of what we do in our time while we're working.
Thank you. Motion to receive the delegation. Moved by Councillor Blanchette, seconded by Councillor Mullock. Questions for the good sergeant? Comments? Councillor Blanchette.
First of all, I'd like to thank you and your detachment for everything that you do. I know that we all appreciate knowing that you're out there. If you had to pick one thing that Valemount has that needs improvement, what would that be in terms of law and speeding and drugs and everything? Is there one place where we're having some real issues that don't seem to be coming together?
I think it would probably be the trucking issue that we have in Valemount. We get a lot of people parked illegally along Caris Drive, which restricts. It's amazing. And we get the people that back onto Swift Creek Road too, right? Blocking the highway. We have taken enforcement action there. I have presented something to maybe council and to Public Works to maybe alleviate that through we used to have a
Traffic committee?
traffic committee that we haven't met. I don't know how far that's gone. That's just a recommendation. Some paint. And I'm a proponent of, if you go by the detachment, you can see those orange bollards that we've placed around so that people don't drive on our lawn or push when the snow comes. So we placed those out there. I think a couple of those strategically placed in front of the Petro-Canada so that they just can't slide in to there. They have to kind of go around. You know, it's only that wide, two of them would be a visible deterrent. And I know the pushback I've heard is that because of snow removal. Well, someone goes out and pushes the snow and the plow goes by it, right? I understand that it's a concern, but also safety of members because they do clog that up. And Swift Creek, the same thing. I gave painting a few lines and putting a few of those bollards out there just to stop. It's a visible deterrent when they can see some object sitting there. Because, I mean, they're doing it all the time, right? I mean, so that's, and they do get complaints of it, or accidents because they're backing up out of there because they do a nose in and they hit a car, right? So I think that's kind of the biggest issue, right, related currently
Sort of an
here.
ongoing one that hasn't been
and
dealt with.
Yeah, and I know there's resources putting out there, but I think some of the easy fixes, in my view, would be those kind of ideas. Just to force them to, they don't want to walk. There's a lot of room on the other side of the Shell station where they can park along there, but they have to walk back 200 or 300 meters to get their coffee, right? So that would be the biggest thing. I think we have a good handle under everything else here. I mean, we are actively patrolling, as you can tell by the numbers. We are doing calls for service and getting all that stuff done with the resources that we currently have. So the resources that we currently have here is myself, Corporal Theoret, and Constable Reiskamp. We have one member on pat leave, one member on long-term ODS, and what we call here in the RCMP a hard vacancy. So we're looking for a member to replace, but this is the first time, and I've been here 7 years now, almost pushing 8 in April, believe it or not. The first time that I've ever had nobody on their, what we call a Hermes run, not on their list. So we're actively looking for members. There was one identified out in K Division, but K Division, which is Alberta, won't release them. So I'm fighting the fight to say this is wrong. We are one harmonious unit, if we will. What's the difference? But that's out of my scope of influence, if you will. But we have looking up, hopefully the member who's on long-term ODS will be either going to retirement or moving to a duty to accommodate position. So once he figures out where he's going with that, I have been apprised that there are 2 members that are in the spring releasable that want to come this way.
Oh, perfect.
So good news for that.
Yes,
So we can
fingers
hope that yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Yep.
Follow-up question. What do you think the recruitment numbers are at Depot?
They are pushing recruits out left, right, and center, from my understanding. So failing if we don't get a member coming in, we will probably get a recruit. We will get a cadet. We call them cadets now, coming here. I just looked at my emails before I left work today, and I still have nothing to say. But everybody, the RCMP, like everybody else in the universe, is struggling with finding people to work. Most detachments, from my understanding, talking to other members around here, are running about 75 to 80%, bigger detachments. And some have been running, like us, 50%. Because unfortunately, smaller detachments, I don't know if it's a lifestyle that people don't want now, don't realize the benefits of a small place. And it's hard to tell them that this is a great spot to come. Not until they come here on a vacation or coming out here to do a relief work. Some members do come relief work, that they go, wow, this is a great spot. And we're like, yeah, tell your friends, come on down.
Do firewood with the mayor.
That's right. Yeah, well, speaking of that, I'd like to thank everybody in the community. It was a great turnout. Like we had that just happen 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 Sundays ago.
Yeah, and we managed to get 15 households of people that required firewood. So, and it is good to see that all the help that we did have, junior rangers coming out, all the support from the companies and other people coming out and giving us a hand.
It was a fun day.
Yeah, and it turned out to be a pretty nice day too.
The new criminal, Canadian Criminal Code related charges up from 12 to 23. Is that just more people are reporting out to the police?
Which one's that? Sorry?
It's so you had complaint calls, but there was nothing related to the Canadian Criminal Code. So really, you just had to educate those persons on those.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Is that more people reporting, like wanting to at least report to the RCMP? Is that?
A lot of people have, well, I'm not sure why I mean, we are the office that's open 24/7. So everybody comes to us looking for guidance. And so if they have a problem that relates to, a lot of them were probably, I never dissected it, but off the top of my head, is landlord-tenant issues.
Okay, property management.
Yes, so they come to us saying that the property manager is doing this or done that, and we're saying, well, it's not a policing matter. We normally will kind of intervene and educate the person that's being complained about, saying they can't do that, that you have to seek to the Landlord Tenancy Act tribunal and go that route. You just can't arbitrarily do that. So that's the majority of my recollection, is that it's landlord tenants issues, or it may roll down to a bylaw issue that we're like, okay, I know we don't have a current bylaw officer here. We will step in and deal with it the best we can. But and it's more of it to educate them, really, that police really are just here to do criminal code things, but we do wear many hats. And as an education, we will try and resolve it best we can.
And then I had one more HR question. With the transition from RCMP to Surrey City Police, are you anticipating any additional available resources? Or will they get swallowed up by the Surrey Police Force?
Well, from my understanding, a lot of the members members that are down Lower Mainland want to stay down the Lower Mainland. There are not very many there's even members that have filled in, you can go to members that are on their days off and ask them to come and fill shifts here. We haven't had the need, because it's only been like 3 weeks since we're down to 50. But in McBride, they have had feral members, and the 2 members that were coming there were saying that they're leaving their northern posting and going back to the Lower Mainland because that's where they grew up. So I think a lot of the members that are down there are going to either flip to Surrey, or if they're not, they're going to try and seek the detachments down there, like Langley, Port Coquitlam, Mission, Chilliwack, stay down there, Burnaby. And maybe I've heard some even moving over to Vancouver because they want to stay where they're situated, right? So, but I haven't heard any numbers coming out of there yet. So I was hoping that would be the case, that there'd be an influx of a lot coming out. But for some reason, north is hard to, we're part of the North District for the RCMP, and it's very hard to convince people to come up here and work.
Because it's very cool.
Yeah, I guess so.
Councillor Pearson?
Yeah, just a quick follow-up, and I'm sort of getting outside the local scope, but, you know, in that Surrey discussion, do you think part of that is a quality of life decision where you can join a static police force, not have your life uprooted every 3 years, so to speak?
Some part of that is true, but I've been in the RCMP for 34 years, and when I first joined, they told us, don't get too comfortable. Every 3 to 4 years, you're going to be moving. But slowly that has dissipated to they're not, because it costs them a fortune to move somebody and uprooting somebody. So there's, and nowadays, most members, their significant other, have full-time, well-paying jobs too. So they try and hunker down and stay where they're at so it doesn't affect their significant other, their spouse, doing whatever, right? A lot of them will stay that way.
Oh, that's good to hear.
We don't move around as much as we used to. So it's, yeah. So it's usually they dangle a carrot out in front of you, or you get promoted to that spot to take that. But there are some members that just love, I love the small detachments. So.
Any other questions? Thank you so much.
Well, thank
Sergeant
you.
Dean, thank you,
for having
Corporal
us.
Thorold. It was wonderful to hear from you for the third quarter review, and looking forward to the fourth quarter.
Thank you.
Stay safe. Any further comments on the delegation? All in favor of receipt? Carried. 5.2, you have the Valemount Resort Development Strategy before you for information. Any questions or comments? What? Oh, yeah, sorry, 5.1. I had so many notes. Village Valemount Quarterly Report for information. Quarterly Report number 3. Any comments or questions on that? I see the visitation to our upstairs are asking directions to the washrooms 3 times more than any other location in the Valemount area. Did you have anything, Councillor Blanchette, on the?
We're having paper problems. We're not used to this. Okay, where are we?
I have my phone working now, so
I can't
it's,
see your phone.
no.
Then on to 5.2, the resort development strategy. Again, for information, if there's any questions or comments on that. Councillor Pearson?
Jumping back and forth here.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my biggest concern is the really tight time frame to start looking at this. I mean, we had our engagement meeting on the 30th, and to have that in place and covered for the end of the year. I'm hoping there's good input on the survey, because I really would be hesitant to be able to come up with a 3-year strategy based on that meeting that we had. It just, there wasn't enough meat on the bones to call it a roast kind of thing. So, so I'm hoping there's good feedback on the survey, and Yeah, it's just, it's a tough process to put that together in such a short time frame. So, be my only comment.
Yeah, I'm hopeful for some good feedback. Any other comments? 5.3, the 2024 third quarterly budget report for information. Open to questions, comments. We have the Director of Finance with us. 5.4, the Recovery Manager contract. We have a recommendation that we approve staff to sign a contract with Strategies North for the delivery of Recovery Manager services for $56,500. We have anyone want to move that? Moved by Councillor Mullock, seconded by Councillor Pearson. Discussion. Councillor Pearson.
First, a quick comment in the background. I think that we should probably show the closures of Highway 16 and 93, not Highway 5 and 93.
Highway.
16
Oh, yeah.
versus Highway 5.
Thank you.
So I guess my other question is, this money, is this provincial government money, or is this coming out of our budget, this $56,500?
This is money from the Ministry of Emergency Management and Climate Readiness. They've approved an EAF for that.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm glad it's not coming out of ours. I mean, I think there's a lot of businesses could use a share of that $56,000 versus having somebody come in and tell them how to get it, but hopefully it's a successful program.
What I think will be a benefit of this is it will force future thoughts to be outside the box, because we never qualified for any current programming, and businesses don't really qualify for any current programming because of the absolutely unique situation that we're in. Impacted by an emergency, well outside the jurisdiction. Had a conversation with a district manager of economic of Jedi, and he said, you know, half of them burned down, it'd be easy. Start the rebuild and build the feds. Like, it's that easy.
Yeah.
There's not a checkbox. So hopefully through Strategies North, we can find some good out of the box thoughts and processes that we can feds, the province of Alberta. Madam Administrator.
Thank you, Your Worship. There's some expertise in companies that deliver recovery management services, and one thing that made this an attractive company is that they have a lot of experience in lobbying government. One of their senior people is registered as a federal lobbyist. They have that experience in being able to get some results out of other levels of government. So that experience is what we're looking for, as opposed to advice to our local businesses.
Do you have a follow-up?
Nope.
Chat?
We have a time frame on when this is going to start?
I was chatting with them today, and if all the stars align, we may be able to have a contract in place by the end of this week. If at this point in time, we've been approved for 6 months, there's always the possibility of requesting an amendment to an EAF, but I don't know whether we'd get an extension or not. But if we can get it in place by the end of this week, that would take us to the middle of May.
Good news. Further, Councillor Mullock?
Yeah,
sorry?
just the one comment that I was going to make is, I guess it's unfortunate that there's a lot of these companies that are getting this type of experience, but it's really timely for us, and I think it's going to be a really good thing. I can't wait to get this rolling and see what kind of outcomes they can come up with for us.
Madam Administrator?
Just to follow up on what Councillor Mullock was saying, there were three other companies we contacted that simply didn't have the availability. They've all got more work than they can use.
Telltale of the summer. Further discussion? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. 5.5, appointment of signatory staff. Looking to approve Van Yansu, Chief Administrative Officer, as a signatory on behalf of the village for documents related to the Valemount Community Forest and Valemount Industrial. Moved by Councillor Pearson, seconded by Councillor McLean. Are there any discussions? All in favor? Carried. 5.6, the 2025 council meeting schedule. We need to approve that, preferably as presented. So if there's something in there that doesn't work for you, let us know. So we'll get it on the table. Moved by Councillor Mullock, seconded by Councillor Pearson. Any dates stand out of, I can't, no. I'm going to Vegas.
Just wanted to mention, I think the NCLGA is that going to be in the May 13th, somewhere around there, potentially, but
We're usually first week May.
no, it's a little different, I think, this coming. But yeah, something just to look into.
Talk slowly.
It's in
Prince Rupert.
Rupert,
Prince Rupert.
Port Ed this year. And it's coastal, all the district.
Kitimat, Siki,
May 12th.
May 12th and 15th, so
13th or so.
may not have a meeting on the 13th. So as amended, to remove May 13th, can I have a amender, please? Councillor Pearson, Councillor Mullock. Discussion on the amendment. All in favor of the amendment? All in favor as the amended motion? Thank you. Not on the original motion. Thank you. Cleaner Task Force, we have a couple recommendations for us under 5.7. First one, that Joseph Newsy be appointed to Cleaner Task Force for a one-year term, commencing January 1st, 2025. Moved by Councillor Blanchette, second by Councillor McLean. Discussion?
To him for stepping up.
Yep, that's great. All in favor? Carried. And two, that the committee terms of reference be amended to reflect the following meeting schedule, be the second Thursday of every month, beginning January 2025. Moved by Councillor McLean, second by Councillor Blanchette. Discussion on the amended schedule. All in favor? Carried. Bylaws and policies. 6.1, Village of Valemount fees and charges amendment bylaw number 901, 2024. Bring my reading glasses next time. We're looking at the Village of Valemount fees and charges amendment bylaw number 901, 2024 be given third reading. Moved by Councillor Blanchette, second by Councillor Mullock. Discussion on third. All in favor? Carried. Reading file. Is there anything the council would like to bring to surface? Councillor McLean, sorry.
Don't have a digital agenda. I would like to ask about the Dogwood Street maintenance request.
I think we'll bring that up during our budget discussions when we're considering the 2020. And Mr. Sajak, thank you for including your letter in this agenda.
I could make a recommendation, Mr. Mayor. Perhaps you could make a motion to Questions?
I think it was moved by Councillor McLean, seconded by Councillor Mullock, that that discussions are had during the budget process on the hard surfacing / dust abatement processes of dogwood. Is that okay, Councillor McLean? Oh, I think that was your motion. Ish. Discussion, all in favor? Carried. Anything else? I would like to draw out the BC Hydro Community Regreening Program. And thank Mr. Sherwood for forwarding that opportunity. Personally, I think they need to be doing more vegetative management along Whiskey Fill Road on the main distribution line coming into Valemount versus offering us trees to care of in our budget. But I would like if someone could move that a staff report be generated on our own, regarding our own village-owned properties that have coniferous / low-lying shrubs, if that could be a benefit for the greening program offered by BC Hydro. Moved by Councillor Mullock, second by Councillor Pearson. Need anything else more than that? Perfect. Councillor Mullock on the motion.
One thing I just would like to mention, though, is when I saw this initially, I thought that, isn't this something that, you know, with the whole Fire Smart, with all of that coming online, we should be following the guidance of that? Like this should follow what comes out of that report and that discussion.
Yeah, as we saw in the quarterly report. All in favor on that motion? Carried. Last chance. Thank you, President Pearson, for the inclusion of the Trans-Canada Yellowhead recovery. Good read. And it's on the Western radar for sure. Then we'll move on to correspondence for action. 9.1, appointment of municipal director to the regional district face of Fort George, with the recommendation that I be appointed to the RDFFG for a one-year term commencing November 21st, 2024. Moved by Councillor Pearson, seconded by Councillor Blanchette. Discussion. All in favor? Carried.
This term is going to start for the councillor on November 21st. Okay, and I'm slotted to go to that meeting for you.
Yes, you are. That probably throws a wrench into that.
Yeah, I did remember a note.
The good councillor that wants to put their name forward, preferably between McLean and Mullock, as the Blanchette and Pearson have served, you would need to fill in for me 2 weeks' time. Not 2 weeks, 10 days' time.
Virtual.
You could do virtual. You would have to be sworn in by Shepherd or, Miss Connolly, before you take part in said meetings.
I nominate Mr. Mullock.
Moved by Councillor McLean, seconded by Councillor Mullock, that Councillor Mullock be my alternate for the same term, starting November 1st, 2024. Discussion on the alternate. You're okay with that, Councillor? They're a pretty good group over there.
Can you send an appropriate email explaining what?
Yeah, we sure can. All in favor? Carried. Appointments to the community consultation committees. We're looking for a member of council to the Canoe Valley Recreation Center Community Consultation Committee for a one-year term commencing November 21st, 2024. Councillor Pearson, would you like to continue on as the CVC RRC?
I would be willing to carry on unless somebody wants to arm wrestle for it.
We got a mover. Moved by Councillor Mullick, seconded by Councillor Pearson. Councillor Pearson be the CVRC CCC for a one-year term. Comments, questions? All in favor? Carried. And that a member of council be appointed to the Valemount District Fire and Rescue Community Consultation Committee for a one-year term commencing November 21st. Councillor Blanchett, I believe you're representative there.
If it's, I can stay on if needed.
Put a mover there, moved by Councillor Pearson, seconded by Councillor Blanchett, that Councillor Blanchett be appointed to the Valemount and District Fire and Rescue Community Consultation Committee for a one-year term commencing 21st. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. 9.3, last appointment, I swear, for this meeting. Appointment to the Valemount Area Recreation Development Association Board of Directors. It'll be my 10th year coming up. Moved by Councillor Pearson, seconded by Councillor Blanchett, that Mary Torgerson be appointed to the VARDA Board of Directors for a one-year term. Discussion. All in favor? Carried. Does anybody have a notice of motion to move forward? Then I'll invite, you have the, no, I'll invite Councillor Mullick to start us off with councillor reports under 12.1.
Unfortunately, due to my lack of internet, I have nothing to report this time. I was unable to attend the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Councillor McLean.
Thank you. On October 31st, I attended the Clean Air Committee meeting. On November the 1st, I attended the celebration of Shirley Bond. And on November 4th, I attended the regular meeting of the Columbia River Treaty Local Government Committee.
Councillor Pearson.
October 29th, sat in on an interim meeting of the SEBC/RCC, so Southeast BC Regional Connectivity Committee meeting along with Mayor Torgerson. October 30th, I sat in on the resort planning strategy session. November 1st, I also attended the gala evening for Shirley Bond in Prince George. Great time was had. November 4th, we had our initial meeting of the SIMP Village of Valemount Working Group. We had some great discussions, being the initial meeting, a little bit about the terms of reference, and there was a little bit of arm wrestling over who was going to be the chair for that meeting, and I was able to nominate Chief Lampro.
Oh, good.
Well, he's throwing it back at me for the next meeting, so. We had a presentation on the RMA program with some discussion on possible collaborations for that, and a discussion on the Emergency Disaster Management Act, otherwise known as EDMA, and our joint roles in that. On November 5th, I sat in on the Community Collaborative Table. November 7th, we had a meeting of the CVRC CCC Committee, which is, we're kind of bringing it back to life. We've got some new faces on the committee, and looking forward to where that goes. And then, of course, I was a little busy yesterday with Remembrance Day for the day.
We forget. Councillor Blanchett.
I too had the Clean Air Task Force meeting, and I went to the Shirley Bond Gala on November 1st. I just want to say thank you to Shirley Bond for absolutely everything she has done. She is an amazing woman, and I am really thankful to do. Yeah.
Thank you. October 23rd, I had a visit right here in the chambers from Mrs. Ramirez, grade 1-2 class. Very kind, well behaved, virtually painless. October 23rd, I attended the Emil Anderson Highway Maintenance Winter Engagement for local stakeholders. October 28th, I attended a think tank in Richmond, BC for improving recruitment and retention for Northern Health medical staff. Travel costs will be reimbursed by the Rural Coordination Center of BC. October 20, right after that, I too, with Councillor Pearson, attended the interim Southeast BC Rural Connectivity Committee meeting. The 30th, I had a VARDA AGM. The 1st, I had an introductory meeting with our new VCF manager, Kalina Velez. And then drove to Prince George with many of you to attend the night to honor Shirley Bond. And then just yesterday, I had the honor of laying a wreath for Remembrance Day on behalf of most. We don't receive these anymore. You do have the calendar of events before you for November and December 2024 under 13.1. And on, sure.
So one comment on the council reports too.
Yeah.
Just to emphasize for those watching that the Shirley Bond evening was on our own dime, not a budget hit for the village. So
Yeah, good to bring that up. 14.1, public comments. We have time this evening for public comments on items considered by council as part of the approved agenda. Do we have any public comments this evening? Mr. Sachuk.
1301 Junior Sajak, 1301 9th. I just want to ask, did everybody got a letter from on my dogwood? All the council members, everybody? Okay,
It's on under the reading file.
okay. And then I wanted to ask about that contract, Strategies North. Can you, I don't know too much about it, just what you guys said. So it's not coming out of the village budget, it's government, BC government?
Yeah.
So what are they going to do? Like, is this a business recovery deal or? So can you just evaluate on that?
Miss Yancey would love to.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The essence of it is they'll measure the need required as far as recovery. They'll develop a recovery plan. They'll implement the recovery plan. They'll measure afterwards, and they will report out.
So they're going to recommend if all these businesses are approval for some money? Is that what we're paying for or they're paying for?
Without saying it in so many words.
So they might not recommend anything. Or hopefully they're going to approve our businesses and everything.
That would be, so as I mentioned before, there is not a current program in either BC or Alberta that we check a box of. And so what Strategies North is going to assist us with and assist Valemount businesses that took an incredible hit this summer due to the evacuation and subsequent highway closures is to get a real concrete assessment of what that looks like for a recovery and to make recommendations both to us, the province of Alberta, the province of BC, and to the federal government.
Yeah. Hopefully it's going to be in everybody's favor because, boy, everybody's been struggling and, you know, that was just the tip of it there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for raising it.
Thanks.
Any further public comments this evening? Motion, we do receive those, don't we? Yeah, motion to receive public comment. Moved by Councillor Blanchette, second by Councillor Pearson. Any comments, comments on the public comments? All in favor? And then give notice to proceed in camera for 2 items per section 91B and K of the Community Charter, discuss matters related to B, personal information about an identifiable individual who is being considered for a municipal award or honor or has offered to provide a gift to the municipality on condition of anonymity And K, negotiations and related discussions respecting the proposed provisions of a municipal service that are at their preliminary stages, in that, in the view of the council, could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality if they were held in. Moved by Councillor McLean, second by Councillor Blanchette. All in favor? It's carried. Thank you all.